Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Worldology, and this video is going to be a gunplay video, and y'all know what I'm going to say. Spread. Will spread be implemented into the next battlefield, and do I think spread will be implemented into the next battlefield? First of all, we need spread in the next game, right? But I do have a bit of a low downside of us not having, spread into the next battlefield. Okay, so the first question is, do y'all really prefer 2042's gunplay or BF3 through Hardline's gunplay? And I know, obviously, we're all going to say, BF3 through Hardline, right? And that out the way, the reason why is because spread was in the game and it actually took a little bit of skill, or not really skill, just, something to be able to know, how to control your weapon, something to know that you know how you can control your weapon, right? So why do I feel like spread isn't going to be the next battlefield when we obviously need it, right? First of all, the leaks, right? It's a new playtest that just came out, and they updated a lot of tweaks and everything. So since we're on a new engine, yes, we're on a new engine of Frostbite Battlefield. 2042 is the first time you use this exact Frostbite engine. It's similar to BF3 and BF4's engine, right? Because it just released and just happened to transfer over to the new, you know, 2042, right? But it's not exactly the same. It might name the same, but it's not exactly the same. So with that being said, is that, and that's also the reason why it took like 11 to 12 months that they could not release the game, and they still did it anyway. But other than that, it's the reason why is that we're on a new engine, and hear me out. That I don't know what the making was for spread on every weapon in the video in Battlefield, but I assume that it took a little bit of time to get situated on how this bullet moves when it's shot fully automatic or semi-automatic or whatnot, and how you're able to control your weapon when that spread happens, and if your screen should shake and every sort of part like that. So I'm not going to give entirely bad news. I'm going to say the good news in the end of the video. But for right now, I just got to say why I do not feel like spread will be in the game. So it might be really hard to implicate different spread patterns for these these upcoming weapons and these new weapons in new Battlefield for the new engine. So we was getting we actually had some type of spread in Battlefield, right, in 2042, but it wasn't the spread that we actually was concerned with. We was actually concerned with, you know, bullet spread, not really visual spread or visual recoil, if you want to call it that, or you know, the gun lying to you and coming out of the bullet when coming out of the barrel, but it's also not coming out of the barrel, if you get what I mean. So that is one reason why, or perhaps the main reason, is that we're on a new engine, and it might be, pretty hard to imitate the type of spread patterns that the previous battlefields had on the previous Frostbite engine. I might be wrong at that. We probably could get, some type of spread pattern on some guns. Who knows? I'm gonna say that at the end. All right, just hold with me. Hold with me. So a second thing is, yes, we should be worried about not having spread, right? So we all know that, because we do not want laser beam shooting. And this is my point, right? Battlefield Hardline, right? The game in the background, it does have a little bit of laser beam, gunplay to it, but it also has a spread, and it also has, suppression, and what is it, flinch, right? It does have flinch. So it might sound bad for, you know for Battlefield players, or good players, or any player that feels like those three or four things that I just named should not be into the game, right? I think that it does add a little bit of balance. Like some of it can be, kept off, but flinch and spread, I think it should be in the game, because it gives a little bit of time for both parties. But for long range in a way. But for short range, it should be damped down a little bit, because obviously we need to see who we're shooting at. But far away, obviously, I think that spread and um, that damn kickback of you getting shot at should be, that flinch should be in the game, but implement it well, right? And this is my third reason, or my second reason that pertains to the gameplay or to the people playing the game. So my third reason, second reason, whatever, is that crossplay is in the game. You know, so you might be saying, Worldology, we had Bloom on console on BF4 through BF4 line. So why do we need Bloom now? Why don't we need Bloom now, right? And I honestly do not have an answer for that, so I can't really say that. But in this modern gaming time, everybody just want everything to be handed to them, and the market loves when people are happy that everything is handed to them as well. When we have weapons that doesn't pertain skill and people can just log in and play the game and chill out, right? Obviously, people should be able to do that. That's why we need server browser in the game so people can leave and join any server that they want to in that general sense and not be able to complain about, you know, getting into a server that they generally hate by just pressing start and matchmaking. You know, they have everybody will have the freedom to pick any server they want. So yeah, that being said, is that crossplay is now in the game, right? I don't have an answer on why Bloom was in the other games and Bloom is not in, 2042. I did get the first reason was my first reason, right? But is it just seems like with every weapon in the game, also added with crossplay and also added with aim assist, and also added with people saying PC gamers are better than Xbox and PlayStation, all of that, zenning, all this stuff that's going on. It seems like it's very hard, but I always have to say the but. I think that if controllers are very powerful, they should keep their aim assist, but just have Bloom in the game, because obviously our guns, shoot our guns shoot with jump like recoil anyway. I mean, they jump on our screen, they shoot with recoil, so PC players and Xbox players can have that similar effect on how you shoot your weapon in gunplay, right? If your gun is shooting down and your recoil is up and you have to use Bloom, that aim assist can help a player to get at least above, above waist level, not necessarily a headshot all the time. Even though that idea sounds good on paper, it's very hard to implement. Very hard to implement. That's what I think for these, people with these headquarters up there at DICE, EA, whatever. But it can be very hard to get a good gunplay on a new engine. They already have it down packed, and it is, the new engine is basically 6 years in development. You know, didn't 2042 come out 6 years ago? I honestly don't remember, cause I just don't. But we've been on this new engine for a while, and they're working on it. They're working on it way more than they did in 2042. They didn't really do anything in 2042. That's why the updates in the game wasn't really necessarily powerful to the extent that we all can enjoy it at the forefront. It was just buggy, gunplay didn't work, everything, right? So with that being said, it's just my final thing is that we should not be able to in 2042 get killed by these low levels, you know, these low levels that no hate, just isn't really that experience, and they are basically just playing for their first time, because it's a lot of people that's going to play this game and it's going to be their first time, and obviously it's going to be everybody's first time because we're all getting a new game, right? So it's just the only reason that we should get killed by these people face like up close and personal in a 1v is either ping is high, somebody's on the Smurf and that's really good, and or somebody who's an aimer and they play other FPS games or something like that, you know. And that's just with everybody going on into this new game. But in in the main or get flanked. But yeah, that's just all my general reasons, because the main thing, and mouse input is working in Battlefield, and that's one main reason why the gunplay did not feel good for you know Xbox players, not Xbox players, us MK players, right? It probably had the Xbox and PlayStation probably had some troubles as well. I don't know. Well, there was troubles. It was just the whole gunplay thing, the whole gunplay. So yeah, with that being said, the mouse input needs to work, work good, and I see that it's working. Feels it's working, whatever. The it's good. Other than that. So that's all I have to say for this video, is that I do not feel that MK is going to be, not MK, damn, spread is going to be into the next Battlefield in the base game when it first comes out. But I really do think that spread will come in a future time. Maybe when a game drops, this year, next year, it will come out in 2027. But it could be a long time for that to, come out, right? And they still have time because they're already they're only in the alpha, so I could be wrong. Spread could be in a game when it comes out. But if it do not come out, it will most likely come out in 2027 or 2028, because we're on a new engine, and I think it could be really hard to replicate, spread in previous battlefields and how it, acted in the previous battlefields. But for now, the leaks look very good. They have, damn, what's it called? Your optic moving while you're like jump peeking and shooting and stuff. I forgot what it's called, but I'm speaking way too much. But yeah, all that stuff, it looks like it's in the game, so I do not see any reason why spread would not be in the game, because they have those mechanics. So spread could be, another mechanic that, should and could be in the game, and I think it can. So yeah, that's it for this video. Again, like, share, comment, and subscribe. I like to hear your ideas, and you can combat my ideas, and we can have a general sense of a conversation to make the game as a whole better and the community better as well. So yeah, that's all I'm gonna say for this video, and I'm gonna see you later. Bye.